Wow, there's already 3 people on. What's going on, guys? This is Gene Jensen, and I'm here live at Southern Moon Outfitters in Augusta, Georgia. My hat's crooked. But we got a whole bunch of people behind us. This is probably the biggest crowd that we've had for a Friday Night Live. We're pretty close to it.
Pretty close.
Want everybody say hi? Everybody say hi. What's up?
Big smoke! Big smoke!
So what's really cool is this is basically the core or the heart of the kayak fishing community in Augusta. And I lived here for 15 years. I was stationed here at Fort Gordon the last 20 months of my military service. Got stuck here because of the good pay and the low cost of living. And and there's a pretty good lake just north of us called Clark Hill that we all love to hate, but we love to fish. Anybody agree with me? It's a blueback herring lake, and so it's an interesting. Don't
No, you're good. I got it.
when you move that. It's an interesting lake, but I got to fish it for 15 years. Fell absolutely in love with it, and now I'm glad I don't live here anymore. I'm an hour and 20 minutes from Chickamauga and Guntersville. So
Well, we've had discussion about KBF bringing an event here.
yeah,
And that's still on the table.
and it's still on the table.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen this month. I mean, it's going to happen in May or April or May of some
Yeah, we
year.
gotta come in.
East Central will host.
All right, wait a minute. All right, KBF, I know you're watching, Hoover. Look at me, Hoover. Look at this crowd. Y'all want an event on Clark's Lake?
Let's go!
Hey, y'all going to fish against me, you know that.
No one looks worried in the crowd.
No.
All right, Hoover, the people are speaking, brother.
In that case, we're going to have it in February.
Let's go.
That's my favorite month. That's my favorite month to fish that lake. Oh, man. All right, let's see. We got questions and answers. Actually, let's do some business real quick.
Yeah, Fish USA.
All right, so a lot of you guys have been asking about my hats. I finally found a really good company to make some really good high quality hats. Got good embroidery on the front. All that other crap that the other ones I just threw out the door. So
Ron Champion, as a matter of fact, in the
Yep.
community, you guys know Ron Champion. This is what he does. He does the textiles and hats and shirts. And we reached out to Ron at the 10 and knew that we wanted to put something together for Gene because he wears this hat nonstop, but the fan base wanted a quality hat.
Yep.
So we built it into a Richardson model hat, which is one of the best hats on the market, and he absolutely crushed it, guys. We ordered 300 of these hats less than 90 days ago. There's Fish USA has got 50, I think, and we're down to whatever's left here, which
Yeah,
I
not
don't
very
think is
many.
much.
So you can go to Fish USA and buy them if you guys are looking for them. Is the biggest thing. So pretty cool. What's next?
Decals.
Stickers. You guys know that little button down at the bottom, the little money sign, whatever, super chat as they call it. You donate $5, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or email me. It's gene@flukemastr.com, and send me your address and your name and your screen name on YouTube. And if we have, and I think we've got everybody, but if there's somebody that we have not sent a sticker to, be sure to let me know.
Let us know.
Because
Messages
we
again.
got traveling and forgot to send some, but I think we've caught up on all that. So
Everything should be caught up, and we just actually had to order another batch because tonight these have gotten kind of scarce as well.
These are the last two.
So
So it's going to be about 2 weeks before we send them out, but $5 donation will get you a hat or stickers.
stickers.
All right, is that business?
That's business. Let's answer some fishing
So
questions.
guess what I'm doing next weekend? Anybody fishing Guntersville next weekend? Nobody?
What?
Got the KBF tour on Guntersville. Yeah, it is $100 and something bucks to enter it. But it's the only one I'm going to get to fish this year. So I have got to finish in the top 10% because I want to qualify for the national championship. I'm tired of watching all these people win all this money and
Why?
and I don't get to.
So I got a host
fish.
with Chad by myself.
Good luck. But we're gonna.
Sorry, Hoover.
Are you on here yet? But yeah, so this next week is Guntersville.
which you've already been on, so don't just give them half the story. You've already been on Gunners for the last couple days.
Couple days.
Yeah, well, we were on the river.
I've been on there for 2 weeks. What are you talking about? And yeah, and so it's gonna be fun. The bite's on. I'm not gonna tell you too much about it because I like to keep my secrets. But
Keep going.
some are spawning, some are pre-spawning, some are post-spawning, some are deep, some are shallow. You just gotta find the right school, and so that's basically what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. I got 3 more days to pre-fish, and it should be a lot of fun. So before I start lying to you guys and sending you in the wrong direction, I'm gonna shut up. Remember what I did with that one tournament? So we had a tournament on my home lake, which are these little public fishing areas.
Oh, wait a minute.
And the night before the tournament, I had a Friday Night Live, and I talked about how I had an Alabama rig tied on, and this was like dead of the winter. The water temperature was 30 degrees, 35 degrees, something like that. It was like 35 to 38 degrees. Shad kill.
That was a brutal tournament on Rocky. That was a tournament,
And
guys.
so all these guys showed up with Alabama rigs tied on because they were watching my Friday Night Live.
I don't know who that was.
He was one of them. That's actually a tournament.
You can't believe anything this guy says. I'm just saying. That was a tournament where we had 48 guys and nobody caught a fish in 9 hours of fishing.
Yeah.
Zero bass caught.
Well,
And it's good water. Like, it's really good water.
When I made 4 consecutive casts and brought up dead shad off the bottom in 4 consecutive casts, I said, I'm done. That's it. I went to the bank and I kind of hung out and talked to people because it was, all the bass had to do was sit there and open their mouth. And the bottom was completely covered with fresh dead shad. So,
Guys, y'all start hitting us with questions so I can hit Fluke with questions. 'Cause
Yeah.
Y'all are all giving us what's up.
what's up, guys? Sorry, I can't see your name, so it's gonna be a little bit different this week.
Yeah,
But how do you like this backdrop? That's freaking.
Tell you what, that's what we need to do. I tell you what, let's bring Kevin over here and let Kevin talk a little bit about the shop and how and why they renovated. Come on, Kevin.
So as an intro, this is Kevin Fox. Probably one of the nicest guys you will meet in kayak fishing. But he owns this paddle shop called Southern. I'll shut up. We're on Kevin's friends. But anyway, so he started. How long have you had this shop? 2 years?
October 2015.
2015, so several years. But it was this little bitty store, and the first time I came in here, I said, "This ain't gonna last long." It was just small, and he was growing out of it. And evidently, he's got a pretty good landlord.
Yeah.
And so literally the area of the building next to him opened up, and his landlord let him move in. So now you've got almost 3 times the room.
Yeah, went from 1,500 square foot to 4,000 square foot.
Wow. And so this is the grand reopening of Southern Moon Outfitters. And like I said, this is the heartbeat of kayak fishing in Augusta. And there are a ton of fishermen in Augusta. I mean, this is why Bass Pro Shops ever pulled out of Augusta building the store here is beyond me.
They didn't need them here anyway.
They did it twice. Okay, twice they pulled out.
Yes.
And it I was living here at the time, so it's kind of I got my butt hurt. Sorry, you guys didn't see that. But anyway, so Kevin started this shop, and tell us a little bit about it and the history of Southern Moon Outfitters.
Kind of got into kayak fishing by accident, as I call it. Gas prices got too high to run the power boat. Fell in love with it and passion, so I decided to pursue a shop and started Southern Moon. It started, like I said, in a 1,500 square foot shop. Basically built, I call it bootstrap. Pulled up from the bootstraps. Started with just one girl in the kayak, worked my way up. Didn't take long. I was busting at the seams and kind of growing the community around here. And within about a year and a half, I knew we needed to move. But I just kind of was patient and just waited. And then eventually this unit became available and we moved. And here we sit.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have put a lot of work in. It wasn't just you; it was the whole team.
It was
in there.
a lot of my regular customers and my promotional team.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of the guys and gals that came in. They spent hours and hours. I mean, for 4 weeks now, we've been putting in anywhere from 12 to 18-hour days.
That's awesome.
7 days a week.
That is so awesome. We're plugging the microphone up, guys, so hang tight. But the cool thing that I've noticed about this is how, I mean, it's just like any kayak community. Everybody's so stinking close, but it's just, yeah, snake. But the people here in Augusta, I guess it's because they have to deal with such a difficult lake to fish.
You think?
We always, I mean, well, let me back up a little bit. So Kevin and I are horrible neighbors.
Yes.
We are really bad neighbors. We lived within eye shot of each other for 10 years and never met. We
Yes.
suck.
I sniffed out every boat in the neighborhood and never found his.
And mine was parked right next to my house.
And I could
A
sit
long
on
time.
my back deck and grill and see his house.
Yep. And so, yeah, it was pretty bad. And I'd see his pontoon boat as I was going. Well, the Hoffas were good friends of mine. So we got it locked up somehow, Scotty. We got locked up.
Why are we locked up? Wi-Fi. Is anybody on Southern Moon's Wi-Fi?
No.
Okay.
Southern Moon has a Wi-Fi?
Didn't know it.
No, well, you're welcome for that. Sorry.
Yeah, what's the password, Kevin?
Password is I don't know.
Still have audio. Why are we not having?
This is a YouTube issue because they had this a long time ago.
Yeah.
They had it for a while. Oh, I didn't know you could flip it.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm
Guys,
glad you guys still have audio.
Y'all,
We're trying to figure out.
y'all smash the thumbs up button, guys, or the like button if you can still hear us. I don't want to boot this if we're gonna pick back up. But we're still going here, so that's been 20 seconds. Let's see if this freezes up. Talk about remodel and why you had to grow.
I had to grow because I was completely out of room. I mean, it was literally busting at the seams.
Yeah.
We had product shoved in every nook and cranny in that other shop. So, basically just had to move. And, like I said, we had a lot of my team. I mean, I can't sit here and name everybody, but there's a few standouts. Kathy Matheny, she was up here daily. My wife has helped some. We've had, who else? Patrick. Where's Patrick? Patrick was up here every time he had off. We had Mike Rouse, Adam Collins. There was a bunch of guys. They were up here every chance they had off. Yeah, Devin. I mean, it was, I can't name everybody. It's just, it was so many people all come together to just help me get this done. It's the only way I was able to do it.
That should have nothing to do with it. Everything that was there.
Still there?
Yeah.
They just can't. We just.
They said they can hear us, but the screen is frozen. Frozen this in here. We may have to unplug here in just a second.
Yeah. We may have to.
That
start
ain't no
over.
good.
Or you can pop out of it, pop onto the cellular.
I don't know if we can or not. Let's see if we can pull that out of there and see if we pull that back up. Make it. See if we can force it.
Were you still hooked up to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, but I don't. Letting you pick back up.
Yep.
All right, try that.
All right. We should be up.
Technical difficulties.
But yeah, talking about some of the folks that helped me, another one I really got to send a shout out to was going to be my dad.
You were saying?
Pops, the honey badger.
Pops, the
Honey badger.
Yeah, Pop!
Good. Yeah, we had to get off the Wi-Fi and get on the cellular to make it work. But yeah, dude, this was a whole community came together for this, and I'm excited about it. It's different. I mean, I've been around a lot of kayak communities too. This is just, you know, it's just different. I mean, I remember my favorite place to hang out growing up was a little tackle shop down south of Covington, and I would spend hours there just sitting in a chair talking. And this is kind of like that. If you don't have chairs set up in this place when we gonna be an issue. Have like 5 chairs, cause it's always gonna be a place where people hang out.
That's exactly what we're working on.
They're too busy selling stuff. They ain't got time for people to be sitting there.
I watched 2 kayaks go out the door today. That's awesome. All right, guys, so that's Southern Moon. This is Kevin Fox. If you guys are ever in the Augusta area, it's not far from the hub of the town.
Come by and see us.
Yeah, right up here in Martinez, spelled Martinez, but we say Martinez. And so I used to, matter of fact, the first house I rented is a quarter of a mile that direction when I was in the Army right there, and then I lived that way. So it's pretty cool. It's good to be home though. So
Welcome back.
thanks, brother.
All right, boss man. First question, simple one for you. Fluke or frog? Yeah, that's 2 totally different things, but they said fluke or frog. 2 totally different techniques, but I'm just saying.
If they want a fluke, I throw a fluke. If they want a frog, I throw a frog.
What knot is best for a crankbait? Donnie Brown says, what knot is best for a crankbait?
I mean, if you're throwing fluorocarbon, a good knot is a very carefully tied improved clinch knot, not a Palomar knot, because it's easier to burn the line with a Palomar knot. Just depends on the line you're tying, really. So.
Looking for a good fishing boat. What's the best starter boat for around 10K? Ooh.
Pursuit.
Get a room full of kayak guys tonight, so you can get a couple pursuits for around 10K actually.
My first boat, actually the first big boat that I had was that tan. You guys remember my tan Triton 186? That one cost me used $10,200. It had 8 hours on the motor. The guy had more money than he had sense. He bought it, parked it next to his barn, uncovered for 4 years, and now you know what happened to the seats. And remember when the seats exploded? Yeah, that was fun.
Brian Robinson says, geez, the guy only had one job, was to plug in the microphone. Look here, buddy. Banned.
That might earn him something. Put him in timeout.
Yeah, exactly. We're putting you in exile, buddy. Guys, y'all start pumping up some questions. I mean, Gallon Daily says...
No.
Okay.
We don't roll tide in my videos.
I mean, you said it. Let's see here. Not loud enough. Are y'all still having issues with that? Shouldn't be. Anchor trolley or no anchor trolley? I think we disagree on this.
Anchor Wizard?
Anchor trolley, no.
Okay, anchor trolley. I don't particularly like an anchor trolley, mainly because I usually use my power pole in the back. But if I was running rivers in the 107, an SS 107, which does not have a place to mount I could probably make one, but to mount a power pole, I would run an anchor trolley. The anchor trolley is mainly for me, for current. If I want to anchor facing downstream, I'm going to drop one off the back. If I'm going to anchor upstream, I'm going to drop one off the front. But typically I don't. I'm almost always off the front anyway.
Alright, so I tell you what, guys, we got about 40 kayak anglers in the room. I'm going to go with a show of hands. If you run an anchor trolley, throw your hand in the air.
Everybody.
Yeah! So you guys are all tuned in to watch Gene. Gene's the expert. Just saying, 40 other kayak guys in the room disagree, and I'm one of those guys.
I don't have an excuse. I just don't use one.
We don't all.
He can't afford a microphone.
Oh, that's true. Well, he can't afford them either. They just give them to him. I got your back, brother. I got your back. That was meant as a plus on your side. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Hey, you worked your butt off of that. Okay, I actually want to know this one. Thanks, Michael Parsley. What's the best tactic for bedfish? I need to learn this.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 of them. One of them, get yourself an 11-inch swim bait. Uh-oh. Everybody got quiet.
Write that down.
Get you a big swim bait, big monster swim bait, okay? You don't even have to have hooks on this swim bait. I don't care. Throw it in there, bring it on, lay it onto the side of the bed and let it sit there. And let it sit there. And that male will beat the living crap out of that swim bait. And you'll notice the female come closer and closer and closer as he's beating the snot out of the swim bait, and he can't do anything with it. and she'll keep moving closer, and then she'll start to hit it, and you throw in a little bitty bait about that big and catch her. That's number one. Number two is I use, most of the time I use a big lizard, the biggest one I can find, and it's usually an 11-inch lizard, something like that. And I don't even, another one of those things, I just don't even worry about the hook. Throw it in there and start dragging it through the bed. It's another big bait that the male can't handle. And if you can convince the female that the male stinks at his job, which is really easy, isn't that right, ladies? Really easy. Not very much, not that easy with bass
Every
fishing.
woman is grinning in here. Guys.
Oh yeah. And the women and the girl bass, the female bass comes in and takes over. And 9 times out of 10, if you can get her to pick that lizard up and drop it a few times, you can throw in a smaller bait with a good hook on there and set the hook and catch it.
I'm a big fan of the turtle. Has worked really well for me the past 2 seasons for bed fishing. So that little I Texas rig, that little doomsday turtle, and it works well for me. So do we know a Pamela Fox by chance? Because she asked, Pamela Fox asked us, where's the best kayak shop in Augusta, Georgia? Guys, y'all want to answer that?
What's that one down the road?
2. Y'all want to answer that? 1, 2, 3. Just saying, guys. Yeah, good question there, Pamela Fox. Don't know who that could be. Let's see here. Have you thought about doing a video with Chad Hoover?
I've done lots of videos.
We'll pray for you.
Yeah.
What's a good kayak for Tennessee backwaters? You get a lot of questions and a lot of those answers. A good kayak for Tennessee backwater.
I'm assuming they mean rivers.
That would be my assumption. Tennessee backwaters, yeah, that's skinny water in Tennessee.
The first, the what? The Flint?
Bonafide.
Oh, the Bonafide. 107. But I'll be honest with you, Pursuit's a good river kayak. The Coosa is a good river kayak.
The Flint's a good river kayak.
And the first time I ever got into Coosa, I got back out because I'm not used to that kind of play.
You just spent.
I like solid kayaks.
You just spent 48 hours on the river and you're Bonafide this past week.
Yep. I watched you flip one.
That's already on YouTube. That's news from Monday.
Yeah, but I got it on video, so when mine comes out, it'll be on there.
So oddly enough, that didn't end up in my video. I don't know. Let's see. Do you know when Anglr will have depth maps and navionics? Yak and Tyler, I actually can answer that one a little bit. They are working on that. They just actually announced the coastal stuff that'll be doing. And guys, I tell you guys all the time with Anglr, they're a technology company and they're doing things daily to improve and to get better. And they have amazing customer service. Don't be scared to reach out to them. But they're growing every day as a tech company. They're bringing more and more to the plate, and they've got some stuff that you just announced intelligence packs.
Yep. The intelligence depth charts is on the table. There's something that they're working on. They've got to get it.
Hello. Is that your mom again?
Nope. That ring, it always surprises people because that doesn't seem like my personality. So, it's been my ring for years.
Guys, y'all give us some questions. Tell you what, let's take a couple questions from the audience.
Yep.
Let me grab camera here, guys. Grab a couple
So I
questions.
just want to let you guys know we had to bribe the audience to ask questions.
That's true. We're gonna give some stuff away. So, all right, who's got a question first? Come on in here, young man. Stand up there.
On me. Hey.
Introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and ask Gene your question.
I'm Jamie Hargrove, and I'm from Evans, Georgia. And I used to live around the corner from him too.
Guys, if y'all notice, I don't think he wore that hat because Gene wore it. I think he's wearing that hat.
But it's been worn before, so you can see it's kind of.
It's the same brand though that I used to wear.
Jane, how do you feel about Lanier, preferably around like May 4th? Good question.
Good question. They're all asking. Lanier, May 4th.
April, May 4th.
Now, what's going on? I know what's going on, but tell us what's going on Lanier, May 4th.
There's a little tournament.
A little.
They got a little derby going on. in
Yeah,
May
it's,
4th.
actually, I think it's a couple different clubs getting together,
Yeah,
right?
it's like 3 of
It's
them.
Real Crazy, Peach State,
East Central Georgia.
East
and
Central.
East Central.
North Georgia Kayak Anglers just joined.
And North Georgia Kayak, so that's 4. That's gonna be a yeah. We're fixing to see some. We're gonna see how much this community really rallies around one another. May 4th, you're busy.
Dang it, I'm in
Booked,
freaking Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
May 4th. I don't know what's going on a little there. Let me try to think. Bluebacks will be up shallow. It is a herring lake, but you're dealing with spotted bass. You're not dealing with largemouth. You may find a pocket. There are big largemouth on Lanier. Lanier used to be one of the best big largemouth lakes in the state of Georgia before the spots took over. And then the guide started using herring, and then the herring took over. So the biggest thing is with any herring lake that time of the year, you guys know with Clark Hill, they're gonna be shallow, but the faster you work the baits, the better. They're gonna be pushing up shallow, so you guys know where to look for, but understand that spotted bass are a lot more aggressive than largemouth. You don't have to finesse them. And so literally what I would be doing is I'd be burning the spinnerbait as fast as I could under the surface. This is the coolest dog on the planet. Y'all gotta see, well, he just ran off. That's got the biggest hand I've ever seen. But anyway, so, where was I? He's got, you can get by with fishing faster, is the thing. Unless you've got a bad front, you guys know what happened then. But anyway, so, you got all those, should I talk about when to use top water?
You're gonna be running moving baits.
Take everything you know about top water, you guys know, it's totally throw it out the door and you flip it around with 180 and that's when it works. So anyway, that's that.
That should be, are they setting boundaries, or is it all linear open?
Well, the majority of the lake is open, yeah. Just you can't go further upriver, that's the boundaries, so.
How many of you guys are river guys versus flatwater guys? River guys, throw your hands up.
Both.
That's about half the room, guys.
Yeah, that river muddies up pretty quick after a rain too, but also cleans out real quick.
Yeah, and weather here, as we can attest today, this state, I love Georgia. This state is brutal with weather.
If you don't like the weather in Georgia, give it a day.
Yeah, so I remember, I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story since we're, and let's not pick out another question. So I worked here at the hospital, at the Medical College of Georgia Hospital for 15 years. The one time that I remember, because the funniest thing that happened because of the weather. So we have these wonderful things in Augusta called microbursts. When thunderstorms come through, something when they hit that cold air coming off the water on the river, it creates these massive microbursts. Well, there was a boat race that they have every year on the river, and one of these storms came through. There's a big monster storm. Everybody took shelter and took cover. Well, there's a big microburst that came through. Well, a lot of people had taken shelter in the porta-johns. It blew over the porta-johns. So I was at work. The only message we got was there was going to be a mass casualty coming in from the boat races. That's all we knew. So we were ready for anything. Next thing I know, blue people started walking in the boat. Blue people, and we did mostly decontamination. The only injury was a guy broke his leg when his wife fell on him because they were both in the same porta-john.
That's a crappy situation.
But yeah, dude, that was
Dad joke.
hilarious.
That
Blue
joke
people,
stinks.
we had a little spurt.
He said that joke stinks. We got dad jokes going, sorry. Alright, perfect rain question here. So it's Fluke, with all the rain we've been getting, what rain gear do you use and why?
Why?
What rain, well just, I mean, you gotta, I know that you use NRS, but tell these guys why.
I use NRS Champion bibs and jacket. Simply because they were made for big guys. You know,
If you guys know who Ron Champion is,
he's a big dude.
he's almost as big as this gentleman that I will call sir sitting in the front row. Because I don't know his name, but he's a sir, I guarantee you. He's a sir, because he's Ron Champion plus.
Yeah, and so the biggest thing is I've had good rain gear and I've had bad rain gear. I had some where they was downright dangerous. You'd be out, it'd be raining, it'd be cold, and all of a sudden there's a crotch-sniffing dog. And then literally, you get soaked to the bone in rain gear. And I got to the point where and this was a major company, I'm not gonna tell you who it was, major company, they're $400 bids, and I would have died of hypothermia had it been 10 degrees colder. Seriously, because I was out in the middle of nowhere and I was wet the only dry spot was right here. And all it was rain. And so you really gotta be careful what you do and what you buy, but NRS gear is great.
Yeah.
It's better to have it, and of course, the reasons I wear rain gear is because it rains.
All right, best, if you gotta get one gear ratio, best all around gear ratio, what are you going to?
7-3-1.
7-3-1. Best reel for the money. Man, y'all got some real questions coming in, I like it.
Best reel for the money.
Best reel, getting the most out of your money, best reel for the money. I know you got
The
an
new
answer for that.
Inception SZ. There you go. The new Inception SZ is it's a $250. About a $220 reel, and it's only $150. And it's got the CZV bearings, and the one thing that I've learned from that reel, and I just got a bunch of new ones, is it takes about 100 casts to break those bearings in before you really see what they do for some reason. I don't know if 13 likes me saying that or not, I don't care. But it's, but once you get that first initial 50 to 100 cast, that thing is a screamer, and it's a really good deal. What you got bending branches paddles for?
All right, because you got a very good question. You have an opportunity in front of a lot of the audience to answer a question about how do you pick a paddle and why. So I got you a couple different paddles to look at and talk about, because this is actually very similar to the paddle that you actually use.
Mine's in my truck.
Well, we're not at your truck; these are off the shop. So, but talk about why a paddle is so important in this community.
Okay, so this son of a gun is in your hand most of the day, unless you're fishing. Okay, if you're not fishing, you're dealing with this paddle. It's either in the way or it's tucked away or whatever. When you're paddling long distances, a heavy paddle gets to be pretty nasty, pretty hard to deal with. A cheap paddle that flexes a lot is not giving you near the amount of push that you need for the amount of effort that you're putting into it. I always say buy the most expensive paddle you can afford, because you're going to keep this thing longer than you keep any boat.
100%.
9 times out of 10, we don't sell these with boats unless we're getting out of kayak. And so get you a paddle that is light, that the blade doesn't flex a whole lot, and these fiberglass ones from Bending Branches don't flex. I've got the carbon fiber one, which amazingly doesn't flex either. And get a light one, and then worry about your length. Bonafides need 250 to 260 if you're going to be fishing in the high seat position most of the time. But other than that, just make sure they're comfortable. Make sure it comes from a good company. I mean, you got all these. What ticks me off is, and Kevin, I want you to hear this because you own a paddle shop. Do not put cheap paddles in people's hands when you're doing a demo day. That drives me nuts.
Actually, I'll typically take that in my pro.
Good. And
Yeah,
so,
let me
yeah,
see the
when
difference.
Kevin's demoing kayaks, he puts a good paddle in people's hands. Because a paddle can make a kayak suck.
Sure.
A kayak will never make a paddle suck.
True too.
So, that's the biggest thing.
Picking a paddle is important, absolutely.
Yep.
So, and obviously, you're with Bending Branches, and I'm sure, I would assume half this room is probably with Bending Branches because of the quality of what they do and the customer service that they provide. But their entire line, I started with, I think their classic, I believe is their baseline. I don't know what that math
Scout.
is. The Scout.
Mhm.
And then then you move all the way up to like this model, which is the Anglr Navigator, which is what I currently use. And and this thing is not only is it beautiful, but it's built like a tank. And this took a good little beating this past week on the river when we were down there. So not that particular one, but mine did.
Especially when you bumped up against that tree and rolled up like
Every time. Every time. Hey, in my defense, Fletch was in the water first.
Yep.
Just saying. Whoa, we're getting close.
Get in the frame.
All right. Let's see here. Where are we going here? Best budget-friendly fluorocarbon line. For the most part,
Red label.
fluorocarbon.
Seaguar red label.
Seaguar, yeah.
whenever I'm broke and I need some fluorocarbon, I'm gonna buy Seaguar for Red Label. It's not the best on the planet. It's gonna have its issues like any less expensive fluorocarbon does. But I don't have to worry about have to worry about it breaking on the hook set, because a lot of fluorocarbon cannot handle the shock of the hook set. Especially my hook sets for some stupid reason.
What's your standard go-to weight?
12.
12?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna ask me a standard,
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be your go-to if somebody's got one rod, one reel, they're gonna go buy some forms, buy some 12, okay?
yeah.
12 is the red.
Yes, 12 will crank good, 12 will work a jig fairly good.
Hunter, yes, Southern Moon carries Bonafides, as a matter of fact. On the wall, I don't know if it's sold or not, but they have the 123 on the wall right over here
Yeah, the brand
that
new
neither one of us have yet. So I'm a little jealous and a little bitter if you haven't noticed. Is the Jawbone two-piece bait caster any good? I know nothing about that.
Never heard of it.
And so yeah, we don't know. The Jawbone, is that the am I wrong? Is that the Cast King, I think? The Jawbone? Somebody fill in there.
So we've got a room of 30 fishermen and we
And
never heard
nobody
of it.
knows that, so yeah, give us some more elaboration.
Don't use it.
Let's see here.
Apparently their social media is not very good.
In your opinion, now I know you're gonna answer this one easy. In your opinion, which kayak and paddle combination is the best? You use a Bonafide 127 and your bending branches is what you personally.
Yeah, I use a Carbon Pro bending branches and love it. Absolutely.
You use a 260 or
250 to 260. Actually, it's 244 to 255. I think it's at 55. Yeah, I should have got the 250, the one that goes to 260, but yeah.
Are the Ozark Trail lures any good? This is the Walmart brand. I know you don't shop at Walmart for lures, but I mean.
I love to watch people buy those things and catch fish on them. I mean, a bass, I can make a bass eat a number 2 pencil.
Actually, I've seen that. Yeah.
No, it is what it is. But those $1 spinner baits and buzz baits are, they catch fish. So.
All right, you got 2 days on a lake. How are you breaking it down? New body of water, 2 days on a lake. This is a process. Go ahead.
Simple, easy. First thing I do when I get to the lake, I look at the watercolor. It tells me what lure colors I'm going to use, what types of lures in some situations, that kind of stuff. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the water. I'm going to find out what the water temperature is. I usually have a good idea depending on the time of the year. Third thing I'm going to do is go look for the food. Just like me, bass don't leave far from the dinner table. So wherever the food is, the bass are not going to be far. You can find bait fish and not find bass, but you will never find bass without bait fish, or without something to eat. If you're in a pond, it's going to be bluegill, it's going to be the little minnows on the side, that kind of stuff. Walk around the bank and find the area that's got the most bait in that area of the pond. I don't care how small it is. And once you find the food, then you start looking for places for bass to hide. And because they're going to be like deer hunters, they're going to hang out in a little place to hide, and they're going to jump out and eat their fish, eat the bait, and then come back in. They're not going to go unless they're blueback herring here on Clark's Hill, which I tell you, throw everything out the door. They'll get out in the middle of the lake, chase. I've caught bass in 124 feet of water, 12 feet deep on this lake. And so this is a whole different lake. But normally, typically, they're going to find some place to hide and they're going to ambush their prey. So.
How long does a spawn typically last?
Depends on what part of the country you're in, really. Florida, it's 4 months. Georgia, it's 2.5, and then they spawn in a really short window up north. So it just depends on where you're at.
Audience question. Let's take one of those. I'm actually going to hand these paddles back. Who's got a audience question? I'll let y'all pass it back. You got an audience question, big man? Let me grab this camera, big man. I'll let you stand up and.
Oh, we gotta give dude something for asking it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
All right, big man. We're gonna pass these. There you go.
Pass that back.
Tell us who you are, man. Where you from?
I'm Aiden, and I live in Augusta, Georgia.
Aiden, how old are you?
I'm 11.
11 years. How long you been fishing?
Since he could breathe.
A long time, huh? About 9.5 years.
2 years, maybe.
2 years. You're a seasoned pro, then, right? No. Confidence, buddy. Confidence is key. The bass smell confidence. All right. Ask old Gene there your question.
So, which is the best beginner kayak for fishing?
Ooh, good
That's
question.
actually really good. Actually, that's
Good
a question I want to
question.
ask everybody. What's a good beginner kayak? What is your opinion? No.
Stop. The best one that you like when you demo.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Kevin nailed it. It's the best one that you like when you demo. How many people I told that tonight who are looking for their next kayak or a new kayak? You know?
Three things I insist on here at the shop that you have to do before you buy. Demo, demo, demo.
That's cool. Kevin says there's 3 things that you have to do before you buy a kayak here at his shop: demo, demo, and demo. Get into the boat and paddle it before you buy it. Now, I would expect a kid to do it too, especially because a kayak can be too big for you. It can be too wide for you. Your arms can't reach all the way outside. You can't reach the pedals. It is what it is. And so you just gotta, the best thing to do when you're looking for a beginner kayak is to go to a paddle shop and ask the owner if you can demo some of the boats. And then find one in your budget, go out and demo it, because I made that mistake. I bought a Perception Sport years ago. Nothing wrong with the boat. I did a ton of research, everything else. It had a lot of good reviews. I took it out. I bought it for $600. I paddled it 2 days, and I sold it to my brother-in-law. And the reason had nothing to do with the boat. It was that I could not sit on that boat and have my feet and knees at the same level as my butt for that amount of time, and my back just ached to no end. And so it wasn't for me. It wasn't the kayak that I needed to be paddling, so I got rid of it. I don't want somebody else to have the same issue. So go demo your boats before you do it. All right, Scott.
All right, super chat question that I would typically just answer, but I'm gonna let you tell them what to do because it's gonna be anyway. It says, hey Gene, we'd like to take what would it take to get you to Oklahoma City next April to be a celebrity guest? You're a celebrity. To be a celebrity guest at a charity tournament at the Beavers Bend Kentucky Classic. Shout out to Tulsa Kayak Guy. This is from Kayak Fishing Woman, the super chat. You're gonna tell them to call me.
I'm gonna tell you to call this guy. His name is Scott Butcher, spelled B-E-U-T-J-E-R. Don't try to remember
I don't
that.
know the internet needs that.
Yeah, but anyway, call this guy. He's my manager. He's what sets all that stuff up. That's the best way to do it.
You can
it
direct,
doesn't get forgotten.
You can direct message any of the Flukemastr channels,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any of that, or find me, and I run the schedule, and I'll get you. We'll talk and get that set up. So
Yeah.
just direct messages. That same question there.
Yeah.
What's a good age to start a kid with a baitcaster? Are you going baitcaster? You're 11, right? You going baitcasters yet? Not yet. All right, we're
My
getting there.
son started when he was 6.
My son is 6, and I'm not handing him one of my just saying. But difference in children.
If they can throw a baseball, they can throw a baitcaster. And it's the biggest thing I always say. And so
That has to be different because my kids, maybe I'm a
if
terrible
they've got
father.
the coordination to throw a baseball, they can figure out a baitcaster.
Coordination, that's what I don't have.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Okay.
But go watch the video where I taught my nephew how to cast a baitcaster, and that will give you the baseline on what to do. And then tie a 1/4-inch nut onto the end of your line and have him throw it into a 5-gallon bucket. If he hits that bucket, it made it his day. And so, remember, it's not a cast for distance; it's a cast for accuracy.
There's a young lady, Tiffany Jensen, waving.
Hi, honey.
That's the wife.
I'll be home tonight, promise.
She's just making sure that you're
Actually,
actually working.
probably
and not
tomorrow
somewhere.
morning, but I'll be home. It'll still be dark.
River bass or lake bass during spawning time? Which do you prefer, river bass or lake bass during spawning?
Well, what I'm used to is lake bass spawn first and river bass spawn later because most of the rivers are a little bit chillier, at least around here because they're normally coming out of dams. I've actually caught spawning bass in July just south of the Clarksville Dam. One of those beautiful bass I've ever caught in my life. Had mussels on top of mussels on top of mussels. But I don't know. I like lake fishing because you kind of have to hold still. It's easier to anchor down and hold still when you're doing it. But I don't bed fish much. So
Ryan Amen says, Tobo, Oconee, or Sinclair?
Oconee.
Oconee. I kind of thought that was gonna be your answer, actually.
That's where I
Over
grew up
Sinclair?
fishing. That's where I grew up fishing. Sinclair sucked when I was fishing.
Sinclair,
It's great
I mean,
now.
am I wrong?
It
Sinclair
still
doesn't
sucks.
suck now, right?
It still
Does?
sucks.
No. I got a buddy. that fishes-
There's-
well, I got a buddy that knows it really well.
There's
He
been
catches-
some good fish coming out of Sinclair the last year or so.
So when I fished Oconee, with Sinclair, you had to catch 4, and whoever caught the kicker for the tournament won. You only one person would ever catch in a 40, 50, 60, 100 boat tournament. One person would catch a big fish and they win. But now it's a lot better. You're getting 20, 25 pound sacks. Clarksville's a lot better. It's taking 20 pounds to win the freaking Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, whatever you guys have.
Opinion on the 117. This they've asked 2 or 3 different times, so they're looking to pick it up tomorrow. Give your opinion on the RS 117.
My opinion on the RS 117. To be honest with you, let me talk about stability. Stability is between the 120, it's right there in between how stable the 127 is and the 107 is. It's more stable than the 107. The 107 was designed for more current and stuff like that. It's got a little bit more rock in it. I like the high seat on the 127 than the 107. I'm really, really particular about my seat, mainly because of my experience with having a bad back, thanks to the United States Army. That's why I sit crooked like I'm sitting right now. But anyway, so I gotta have a comfortable seat, and it's not as comfortable as the 127. But other than that, it's a straight running boat. It's got good glide after you stop paddling. It still keeps going. It's lightweight, easy to load, easy to unload. The downside of it doesn't have a lot of storage space. You can't store anything inside the hull, so overnighters are gonna be storing stuff on top of the boat. Other than that, it's great.
Guys, we're sitting in a room full of, like I said, like we've been saying online, 30 or 40 guys, and I think just about everyone in here would agree that no boat is absolutely perfect. There's not one kayak that actually matches every single need for every situation. That's not how this industry works. It's not how sports work.
But us as kayakers are really good at adapting.
Adapting, absolutely.
We've
But
had to for years.
for me, I think at that $1,000 price point, with the warranty, the quality of the boat, and what it is, it's my personal opinion that I know y'all are asking Gene, but I think it's the best boat on the market for $1,000.
Yeah.
And by far some of the best customer service and some of the best warranty. Kevin deals with them. He deals with directly with Bonafide. They're not far up the road. Their factory is. Kevin, their customer service, right?
It's great.
So, it's a good boat. You won't be disappointed. If you've had an opportunity to demo it, and you're second guessing, then by all means keep demoing. Best smallmouth lure for the Savannah River, which is pretty close to here.
Somebody in this room.
Nobody wants to say nothing.
Classified.
There is no smallmouth on the Savannah River.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Nobody
Good
can.
lie.
It's a myth.
None.
It used to be.
Actually, if you want to catch smallmouth, you go south of the Lock and Dam, you'll be fine.
Hey,
I'm just saying that the person who asked that question is sitting in this room. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking now. Now we're getting some discourse.
Yeah, there better be a fight.
Let's see here. David Spills with a super chat says
Oh, man.
single fluke rig or double fluke. Why and when?
To be honest with you, I fish a double fluke rig when the bass are schooling. When they are holding the cover and stuff like that, I use a single fluke. So that's the only difference. When they're chasing schools of bait fish, I throw a double fluke rig. I don't like an Alabama rig. There's too many hooks. It sticks too many holes in a bass. And I've had too many bass hooked in the gut underneath the belly from Alabama rig, so I'll throw a double fluke rig. And then, like I said, when they're hanging around cover, in shallow cover, in the grass, I'll throw a single.
How do you approach a lake that gets a ton of pressure and is known for big bass, but it's an overly pressured lake?
So you got two options. Slow way down. If you think you're going too slow, go slower. And speed way up. You can either fish really, really fast or really, really slow. And that's a lot of the times that's what covers it. If it's a high pressure lake and it's a smaller lake, I go with smaller baits. But still, I want to fish those super, super slow. I talk about eat a sandwich between each cast. That's how slow.
All right, I'm gonna take this one, boss man. Corey Walter says, how do you go about getting into a kayak if there's no local shops or demos? So, guys, this community, this room right here, I'm telling you right now, hop online, go to one of these KBF channels, find a local club, get on Facebook and type in kayak fishing in your area, in the town where you're at. You're gonna find other people in this industry. And we're sitting in a room right now, I'm telling you right now, just about every single person in here, that if you posted it online and you were local to here, they'd tell you to come try their boat, try their buddy's boat. This sport will tie you into somebody to get you in some boats. So if you're in a space where it's a shop that you can't get to, KBF has got a couple different groups online, all the different local clubs. Search in where you're at. If you're watching us here, type in where you're from in here. I promise you someone close to you will chime in on where you can get into a couple of boats at.
How many demos have you done in the last 12 months?
Don't put me in, well, for me personally, I'm at 112 in my Bonafides in the last 12 months right now. I'm not talking demo days, but I'm talking personal, like me one-on-one. Now I've got a fleet of Bonafides. I work closely with that company, but right now I'm sitting at 112 in the last 11 and a half months. So, yeah.
And everybody here would let you paddle their boats.
100%.
That's how we got into Bonafide. What happened when you got when you wanted to try to Bonafide?
I was in a Feel Free, and I love Feel Free. It's a great kayak. We met up at the first tournament we talked about earlier, and that was when you debuted. That you were leaving the boat you were in to go to Bonafide, and I got in your boat, and a week later I went and bought a Bonafide. And I've been with you and with Bonafide ever since.
Dang
I
it.
shouldn't have went to that tournament, really.
Scott, another good
Yes, sir.
resource for finding a local club,
Yes, sir.
Yak Tribe.
Yak Tribe.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yak Tribe. There's KBN. Guys, there's a ton of what's the one in Tennessee? The guys. It's on the back of your truck. Oh God. The guys in Tennessee. That's not Yak Tribe, is it? That is
Yak Tribe's national.
Yeah.
Yak Tribe's national.
Okay, brain fart. Happens. All right, we're gonna take another question online in here. I tell you what. So here's what we're gonna do. I mean, Angler Bullseye. Who's got a good question? I mean, is it worth a bullseye question? All right, we're gonna find out, guys. This is for an Angler Bullseye. We're gonna go find out. Stand on up here, boss man. Tell us your name. Tell us.
What's up? My name's Alamo from Augusta, Georgia.
He's a YouTuber.
YouTuber.
Give him a shout out. What's your YouTube channel?
Assholes kayak fishing.
All right. If it's a good question, I'm gonna leave you this Angler Bullseye.
Okay.
If it's not a good question, I'm giving it to the kid over here.
I'm down with that.
Okay.
He's a good fisherman. All right, Gene. What inspired you to step off of a glitter boat and get into a real boat?
Oh, that's a good question. Now he's still in a glitter boat too. Look, I'm giving you this. But we're gonna give one to the kid too. There we go. All right. Now let me preference this with Gene. You just ordered a brand new Alumacraft. You have to be nice to Alumacraft. No,
It has nothing to do with
No, it does not.
I'll give you a big, for instance, this is the exact reason why I fish out of a kayak. I have a lot of people who watch my videos who want to get off the bank. Period. The reason I promote kayak fishing is because it is a good way to get off the bank. When I was stuck on as Mike Buca that makes the bull shad, when you're without a boat, he calls you boatless bank trash. So I was boatless bank trash is what I was. And when his boat burned up and he didn't have a boat, I publicly called him boatless bank trash. So this is kind of something that goes back and forth between me and him. But anyway, so there's a lot of guys out there who want to get out. And when I was still on the bank, the only option for me was a paddle. What was those stupid things? The inner tube that you set in.
Belly boats.
A belly boat. I had a belly boat, and I borrowed a 10-foot John boat from my father-in-law. So that was the options. Kayaks were not an option. Guys, kayaks are a perfect option for you guys to inexpensively get out and get on the water. I love my Alumacraft. I love being able to burn up the lake and run all over big lakes like Chickamauga and Guntersville. But the community of kayak fishing makes kayaking for me. It's because you set it up.
Well, I know, but
Totally worth it. So, and I'll go a little bit further. The reason I'm not in a glitter boat over an aluminum boat, A glitter boat cost me $100 to $120 a day. And that was fishing from here to Clarks Hill. But it was between $100 and $120 a day. I bought an aluminum boat with a 90 horse two-stroke on it, and I went to $40 a day. I got the Alumacraft with a 4-stroke on it, and I went to $20 a day. And so that's the difference. And with a, and so anyway.
So guys, some of you guys don't get, I'm gonna speak a little frank here. Some of you guys don't get the behind the scenes of this guy right here next to me the way that I do. And I can tell you one of the things that I love about him, and one of the things the reason that he draws the audiences that he draws, is the humility in the way that he carries himself and what he does. And a big reason why he stays in that aluminum boat, because since in the last couple of years, when he's worked his butt off and earned what he's doing up here now, some of these other boat companies have come knock at his door, and he's turned them down because the aluminum boat, the blue collar guy can go by, and he knows that's the majority of who's watching him. And so I've watched this guy humbly step away from better offers because that's not who his base is. And that is the reason why I'm as loyal to him as I am, and why the fan base that he has is.
Yeah, but
who
you
he
can't
is.
catch a fish going 70 miles an hour.
That's absolute fact. Hey man, throw some stuff to the crowd. That's a Bending Branches hat. Well, we should have showed that off, but that was a Bending Branches hat.
Sorry.
I do want to show this one off.
This is a Flukemastr hat.
The Flukemastr. Who's in a Bonafide? Who doesn't have a Bonafide shirt?
Here's goes to the pursuit guy. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
He's right here. It won't fit him.
Guys, so we've also got, let me see if I can kind
Hey,
of.
you guys sort out who gets this one. I'm gonna throw it in the middle.
Oh.
Light's too bright, but guys, let me show y'all this product right here.
Package.
I'm gonna grab a couple of these here. I'll let you talk about this, and then we're gonna give this away too.
So this is made by a company called.
Let me get you some more light.
Hold on.
She baits.
Yeah, Anglr.
She Anglers. Yeah.
She Anglr custom baits.
Look at the color on
Why
this.
is it called She Anglr, Kathy? Because she's a she and she's an angler.
Kathy's another one of those people that will tell you the truth.
So I want to show you this crankbait. This is pretty cool. And what drew me to this one and to the other ones, they're really beautiful. I mean, first of all, that's a freaking work of art. But anyway, we're doing a giveaway for these things right now. These are they retail for $10 here at Southern Moon.
Do we have to give away that one? Because I kind of wanted to buy that one.
It's gorgeous. But
There's another one.
I'm taking that one home then.
But anyway, we saw these and just kind of wanted to show them off is the only reason. So it's we're gonna do a giveaway, but it's called She Baits. She Angler, sorry. Kathy's gonna beat me up. But anyway.
She can do it too.
Yep.
So let's do it. Let's give it away to who's fishing the next local tournament.
Say forward.
Okay.
Say forward.
Who placed in the top 10 in the last local tournament?
They should not get it.
All right. Who played? Who finished the lowest in the last local tournament? Don't give it to that guy.
But he's got a Georgia hat on.
All right, Gene, you gotta wrap them up, get them out of here, man.
What time
It's
is
been a
it?
good time. You are
still got
9:58, brother. You'll take one
We still
more.
got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right, let me give you another question. They're giving us story times. Let me read a question quick. It says, hey, throw that crank down to Warner Robbins. Kevin, can they buy those online anywhere? Can they call you and maybe we can package it up? Call Kevin, guys, at Southern Moon. And there's a whole wall of them. I'm telling you right now, I'm fixing to buy 2 or 3 for me personally.
She Angler has a website.
She Anglr has a website as well. Google that. Let's see. All right, here we go. Fluke, what's your craziest fish land on boat or kayak? Speaking of which, did you see, was it MLF where he caught it over the dock and had to jump out? Yeah, and then who was the other one that threw one over the dam last week and ramped it up over?
It's crazy.
It was crazy. So what's your best fish land?
It's gonna be my Goliath grouper.
Oh yeah. That's on YouTube.
Yep, that's on YouTube. I need to re-edit that one and have it just that video because I'm gonna do that. But anyway, so I caught between a 250 and 300 pound Goliath grouper. We originally thought it was
kayak.
225. I was in a kayak. I was in a Mayfly, a Jackson Mayfly. The scaredest I've ever been on the water. At that point in time, I realized what a bait fish feels like. You know, what's going through a bait fish's mind because he's always somebody's food. So that's kind of how I felt. But knowing that I was about to do battle with something that could pretty much do whatever it wanted to, it bit. The first one bit and it broke 400-pound cable. The second one bit and I went from 0 to 7 knots. How much is 7 knots? 8 miles an hour? Something 6, 7, 8, yeah, about 8 miles an hour.
Kayak guys.
In a kayak, like that. And it was like being tugged by a VW bug. Fought it for about 8, 9, 10 minutes, something like that. I think it was 9.5 minutes, and pulled up this 300-pound beast, 250, 300-pound beast. So,
All right, Gene.
that's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Spin around right here, brother, right in
Yep.
the middle. Put all these people back behind you. And I got one more thing I want you to do. With all these people behind you that fishing these little plastic boats, I want you to tell people why KBF's important and why this kayak community is important, and then sign out.
Okay, KBF. You see all these guys behind me? Whether they like KBF or not,
Facts.
they are here because KBF exists. Because that's what started it all. Kayak Bass Fishing, the organization, is the root of what we do and of this community. And to be a part of KBF, when I decided that I wanted to partner with Chad Hoover and be a part of KBF so I could promote it and introduce these people to the world of kayak bass fishing, that was my main goal. And that's still my goal today, is to introduce people who are just bank fishing or boat fishing or whatever to a whole new organization where we can go out, we can compete, we can have a brotherhood, we can hang out like this and actually like each other. Mostly. But it's been great. This has been a really good Friday Night Live from Southern Moon Outfitters. I'd like to thank everybody behind me for sticking around. There was about 50, 60 people here earlier. We had a party before all this, so a lot of guys went home. A lot of them have wives that were required for them to be home. But mine wishes I was. Sorry, honey. But anyway, so we're going to sign off. And like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More important, to get out on the water, go and catch some fish, and have an awesome day.
Amen.